Hello everyone, I am Dr. Jhamanda Suter, and today we will learn about rocks, their types and formation. So let's start with the definition of rocks. Rocks are the material that form the essential part of Earth's solid crust. So rocks are hard masses of mineral matter comprising one or more rock forming minerals that are made up of many type of minerals. So there are some sciences like petrology and petrogenesis that are related with the study of rocks. So first that is petrology. This term derived from the Greek language word, two words, petro means rock and logos means study. So it means the study about the rocks. And petrogenesis is related to the study of origin of the rock. There are three types of rocks: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. Let's start with the igneous rocks. Actually, the earth crust is made up of different type of rocks. These rocks, which made up of maximum volume of the earth crust, is called igneous rock, followed by metamorphic and sedimentary rocks. The word igneous is derived from the Latin word ignis. It means fire. The result, the rocks are associated with volcanic eruptions. Let's study more about igneous rock and how they form. The liquid rock matter that coming from the volcanoes, this is called magma. It is hard liquid made up of minerals. When this magma reach out the earth surface, and it is known as lava. The cooling and solidification of the lava, the earth surface result in the formation of, actually this is known as extrusive igneous rocks. It also known as volcanic rocks. However, some of the magma cannot come out, settle inside the surface. The magma goes slowly beneath the earth's surface as it is completed surrounded by the soil and rocks present. The cooling and solidification of magma beneath the earth crust having the large crystals is known as intrusive igneous rocks. Now we discuss sedimentary rocks, and these rocks are entirely formed in a different way. I like to discuss how they form. So in the general way, sedimentary rocks are formed from the compaction and cementation of sediment of igneous and other rocks. By means of compactions, we might think that the sediments that may contact with each other and compacted by the force of gravity of other layer of the rocks. And another cementations means the gluing, cementing and sticking of the sediments together. When there is another material of chemical like salts, other material then goes in the space of the rocks, and the rocks become the cementing together. So by in the which way the sedimentary rocks formed. In the formation of sedimentary rocks, weathering is the initial process. Uh, at the initial level, these rocks are become disintegrated into the smaller pieces, and uh, our soil is also formed from the weathering process. So these smaller pieces are also known as sediments, and these sediments are transported and mix with each other, and this transportation takes place through the water, wind, ice, and gravity. And these sediments are also classified on the basis of the size. Uh, uh, they become known in the different terms. So, if the size of this sediment more than 256 millimeter, it will be called the boulder, then cobble, pebble, granule, sand, silt, and finer particles are clays. After the disintegration of rocks at the mountains or hills, they become transported through the gravity and comes down at the surface of the soil. If there is a water or any streams in the level of the soil, then all types of gravels, pebbles, and the clay particle and other big rocks are transported and mixed in the water, and the heavier particles settle down first, and then the lighter one. So these rocks are come down. You can see here there are the bigger rocks are settled first, then the smaller one, and then finer one. These rocks are initially settled down, um, and then these are compact together and make a layer. There are different layer of particles, and these are the larger particle, and then medium, then the smaller one. And you can see here there is a these small particles compact together, and there is a agents like there are other chemicals. This goes inside the spaces of the particle, and they are cementing. This is known as cementation process. So this type of rock is known as the sedimentary rock. This is a completed process now that the sedimentary rocks were formed. There are really the three types of sedimentary rocks, and first is the clastic rock. So this term defined to the sediments, they form from the compaction and cementation of uh, sediments of igneous rocks. So let's see, there are different examples. First is conglomerates. This rock is generally formed from the all types of sediments, uh, pebbles, cobble, sandstone, clay, and all the particles. In these rocks, the shape of these uh, sediments is in the round shape. And another example is brachia. This is also formed from all the type of sediments, but there is a only difference from the conglomerate is that uh, the shape of the sediments are angular and not rounded. So another example is sandstone. We may think that this is formed from the sand sediments, and they are compacted together and the forms of in the form of rocks. So another example is siltstone. It is also formed from the compacted silt sediment, and last one is shale. that is formed from the compacted clay or fine particles. This is another type of sedimentary rocks. This forms from the different chemical processes. This is actually crystalline. This is a change from the result from the evaporation and precipitations. When this sea water that is that contain the different type of salts, and when evaporation takes place, these salts left behind on the surface of the soil and change into the crystals, and crystalline rocks are formed. These are the best examples of these crystalline rocks. This is actually the rock salt, and this is a gypsum. These are just mentioned precipitation that is not involved in the evaporation. When water sample completely filled with the dissolved minerals, the mineral falls down and precipitation at the bottom and form the crystal, and the crystal rocks are formed. Another type, and it is called organic or bioclastic rocks, are also known as biological rocks. There are some examples of bioclastic rocks are including coal in the form from the compacted plant remains. It takes more than 100 years. And another example is that rocks that is formed from the sea animals, and this material that this remains compacted together and form into the rocks. One more important note about the sedimentary rocks, that they are only the type of rocks that may contain the fossils. It must be sedimentary rocks because we can say that there is a involvement of heat and pressures when igneous and metamorphic rocks are formed. So we can say that these fossils will destroy during the process of that igneous and metamorphic form, because there is a lot of heat and pressure. So we can only say that there is only sedimentary rocks that contains these type of fossils. Let us start with the new type of rock, metamorphic rock, and these rocks are found from the changes takes place in the existing rocks like igneous and sedimentary in the results of exposure of intense heat and pressures. There are actually two type of metamorphism. One is contact metamorphism and another is regional metamorphism. Let's see the difference between both of these. Contact metamorphism the takes place when these rocks are contact with the heat. So let's see, when magma come out from the mantle and going up, and the heat of this magma contact with the rock of on the sides of this magma. You see here in the yellow color, these rocks are contact with the heat and new rock formed. That is called metamorphic rock. Another type of metamorphism is regional metamorphism. These rocks are formed from the exerting pressures of another rocks on it, and regional metamorphism takes place and new rocks formed like a metamorphic rock. So let's see, when these cracks made in between these layers, and after the crack these pressures exert on the both sides of the cracks, and and between the crack and the pressure takes place, these rocks are formed in the new rocks. It's called the metamorphic rocks. And just look at, we see here, this is a typical progression of metamorphism. So let us start with this shale. Actually, this is a sedimentary rocks, and when the heat and pressures exert on it, it will change to the slate, and it is metamorphic rocks. And if pressure and heats exert more, it will be pyrite, and then cyst, and finally it will leach. So if there will be the more heat and pressure exert on this gneiss rock, it will convert it to the magma and lava, and it will become in the form of igneous rocks. These are the type of rocks. This is the igneous rocks, and these are sedimentary rocks, and these are the metamorphic rocks. So it is all about rocks, their types, and formation. So I hope that you enjoy a lot, and thank you very much for listening.